Hi everyone and welcome to day 3 reviews of the IPL 2024. We've had 5 games so far and as I said yesterday, we're finally getting some really exciting games and some close finishes coming through. Today we've got 2 games to discuss. It is Monday morning in Wellington. It is Sunday night in Mumbai where Sarvesh is. I've just had some hash browns for my breakfast. And talking of hash browns, someone who's made an absolute hash of their ranches today is the Mumbai Indians. But we'll
Yeah.
come to that game a bit later. What we are going to discuss, though, today, first of all, is match number 4 between the Rajasthan Royals and the Lucknow Super Giants. As we can see from that scorecard, the Royals batting first, putting on 193, thanks in large to fantastic innings by Sanju Samson, Ryan Parag contributing as well. Now, it's true, it's happened. He has actually contributed in a game, so we'll talk about a bit about that as well. Lucknow Super Giants, in reply, falling short by 20 runs, and lots to discuss about that game and some innings in particular that we've seen. Um, Sarvesh, your first thoughts on the Rajasthan Royals batting?
I think before batting, I think we should talk about their impact player strategy, because when we see most teams batting first, when we see that these teams go with the 7-4 formation, 7 batters, 4 bowlers, and then they replace that one extra batter with another bowler, and then make it then they have 4 regular bowlers, and then the batters won't matter when they're bowling. But this we have seen this last time as well, last season, and now again this season. What they have done is they have started with 6 batters and 5 bowlers. So the strategy is that they will start like this when they bat first, and if required, they will get that extra batsman in as an impact sub. And but if they don't require, which is normally the case because they have a very good batting lineup, they have a few very good top order batsmen: Jaiswal, Butler, Samson, Jurel. All those guys are brilliant. So when they don't require that, so what they can do, they can get an extra bowler in, so that becomes their sixth bowling option instead of 5. So that gives them that advantage to have that extra cushion in case somebody's having a bad day in the office. So this strategy, I think, not a lot of teams are using this strategy, but Rajasthan, like last season, now have started using this again. And uh, talking about that start from Rajasthan, I think uh, Butler is again struggling. Last season it wasn't the best for him. He's still short of runs. I think he will pick up form as the season goes ahead. But that opening partnership it did not help. But one thing which happened, Sanju Samson scoring big runs in the first game, it has been happening for last few years. So we have been seeing Sanju Samson starting in a very good manner. He scores those 50s, 60s. Today he scored fabulous 82. I think it was a match winning innings.
Yeah, just speaking of Sanju Samson, in our preview, we did mention his name as one of the candidates, that is going to need to have a really good IPL. And he's made a fantastic start. I mean, amongst all those keepers that we spoke about before the start of the IPL, we spoke about Ishan Kishan, we spoke about KL Rahul, we spoke about Samson, Jurel, all those guys. He seems to have been the one to make the biggest impact, at least in the first round game. Um, Obviously, with that partnership, because they were 2 wickets down when he and Riyan Parag got together. But good to see him getting that support. And looks like that number 4 position for Riyan Parag already paying some dividends because when he came in, it took some time to kind of get a feel of the wicket and get the measure. I remember at one stage he was 8 from 8 deliveries,
Yeah.
which means he was just getting himself, playing himself in. And then once his eye was in, he started coming up with those big shots. So those 3 sixes
Yeah.
actually came at a
Yash
time once
Thakur
he
is
was
over.
well set.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's those are good signs for Rajasthan because finally they seem to have found the right spot and the right kind of mix in their batting.
Because we talked about this in our previews for Rajasthan Royals, because they have switched now, they have shifted Padikkal to LSG, and they have got another bowler as a replacement in that trade. What they can do is they can actually now utilize Riyan Parag well in that top four. Earlier they had to use Devdutt Padikkal in that top four because he's not somebody who is going to bat outside top four. So this is again a very good position for Ian Parag, where he can get in, like you just mentioned, 8 from 8 balls, and then I think how many he scored 43 from 29. So that acceleration was good. Those 3 sixes, that Yash Thakur over, and it wasn't that just that Yash Thakur over. During that time, Krunal Pandya was bowling really well. He was 2 overs for 9 runs, and then the pressure was slightly starting to go up, and that was the time when he decided, okay, now I need to get a kick on. So he scored those sixes against Yash Thakur, and then Yash Thakur's over, and then they got that real kickoff from that point, from that 10th over and onwards.
Yeah, so that 193 for 4, decent total. But just you mentioned Krunal Pandya over there.
Yeah.
If we have a look at those bowling figures for LSG, we've spoken about Krunal Pandya also, that he's never been the cricketer that he was at Mumbai Indians. Once he left them, he seems to have kind of the performances have dropped. But yeah, this season seems to a great start. I mean, when you're bowling 4 overs for 19 in a game of 193, you are doing a phenomenal job for your side. Because if it wasn't for him, this could have been an even bigger total. This would have easily gone past 200.
Exactly. It would have been a 220-ish to a total. And because also you will see Ayush Badoni has also bowled 1 over, because they were feeling that pressure, because Yash Thakur could not complete his 4 overs. He was getting tonked by Sanju Samson and Brian Parag. So they had to use that extra bowler. Now Krunal Pandya did help them with that economical spell. Just 19 runs from his 4 overs when the team has considered close to 190, 195. So that's a very good return. Economy of under 5 in, like, if you see, I think he has not considered a single boundary. So again, that's a very good return from him. And also, I wanted to mention this, that Ravi Vishnu, his figures might look like 4 overs, 38 runs, 1 wicket, but I think he bowled some difficult overs. I think he bowled 17th. I think he bowled 17th or 18th over of that Rajasthan Royals innings, and that tells us that that's the kind of faith Lucknow, this franchise, they have in him. We may see him bowling those difficult overs in the future as well.
Yeah, no, you make a very, very valid point. Now 193, 194 to chase. It was I felt on that particular wicket, it was on par or slightly above par as a run chase was concerned. LSG obviously falling 20 runs short. Now, we had a lot of talk about the batting position of KL Rahul. And the thought process was that since Devdutt Padikkal is now with Lucknow, he'll try and open with Quinton de Kock. We might see Rahul coming down the order, because that's the spot that he wants to kind of secure for the World Cup. But surprise, surprise, when he walked out to bat to open the innings with Quinton de Kock. And now 58 of 44 balls, there are many ways you can read that score. I guess one way of reading it is that it sucked the blood out of the run chase, because from a pure statistical point of view, what KL Rahul has done here is he's played 37% of the deliveries that are available, and he scored only 30% of the runs that they needed. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it was the side was 11 for 3 at one stage. So, he had to kind of dig in and kind of curtain all his shots that he has and make sure that, he didn't lose any more wickets. But the fact remains that if you lose by, when you lose, you lose the points. Whether you lose by 20 or you lose by 60, you still lost the game. Of course, the net run rate is helped and you're not losing by much, which could prove to be good later on in the tournament. But how do you see this innings of KL Rahul?
I think when Quinton de Kock got out, somebody had to come in and play those shots, because we knew Rahul is not going to play that aggressor role at the start. So Devdutt Padikkal, he just played 2-3 deliveries and then he got dismissed. I think that bouncer played a critical role in that dismissal. He got knocked on his head, and then the second ball was full because he was already on the back foot. After that impact, he was on a back foot, and then it was a fuller delivery. He got dismissed. After that point, I felt they sent Ayush Badoni in. I think they could have prevented that, because Ayush Badoni is a good finisher, you would say. He bats well down the order, but he is not somebody who is going to play with lot of authority against the new ball. He's not going to be that player. And look at the bowlers that Rajasthan Royals have. They have Trent Bolt. They could have. They also had Sandeep Sharma, but they did not bowl him. But they had so many good swing bowlers, and I think one would have realized that Ayush Baduni, he was struggling. He was struggling against that new ball. So I think pressure was mounting. But KL Rahul, he stayed there. I think somebody needed to suck that pressure. So he was staying there. But after Ayush Baduni got out, he was also helped by the fact that Deepak Kuda came in as an impact sub. I felt he should have come in at number 4 instead of 5. Baduni should have stayed below, stayed down. But Deepak Huda came in and he played some good shots. That actually helped Rahul to buy some time. I remember he was 26 from 26 at one point. But in next 4-5 deliveries, he scored 2-3, a couple of boundaries, 1-6, and then his strike rate jumped up. So after that, once Huda was dismissed, I felt one of Puran or Rahul had to go, because even Nicholas Puran wasn't looking at his best when he started. He struggled a bit against Chahal, and I think that was the time Rahul probably could have accelerated a bit more. You rightly pointed out that he played a higher percentage of deliveries and scored lesser percentage of runs. So I think this is going to be the case with Rahul if he's going to open. We'll see him batting through that innings, but somebody will have to take that responsibility of scoring quick runs at the other end. Marcus Stoinis could not get in. I think at one point I remember they required 49 runs from 4 overs. And when you have set KL Rahul and Nicholas Puran at the crease, and you require 49 from 4, I think you will back these guys to score those runs, right? Just like the other match, they
Absolutely.
required 48 from
Yeah.
36, and this also similar territory. You back these guys to score those runs, but it did not happen. And also good amount of credit should go to the way Sandeep Sharma bowled.
Yeah, now you're spot on there that from the position that they should have won this game quite easily. But just goes to show, that when you get in the zone of a non-aggressive kind of mind frame, even deliveries that need to be put away, sometimes you don't end up putting them away because you're just in that negative mind space. Now, whether this batting position actually works for KL Rahul and LSG is something that time will tell. And it's just the first game of the tournament, still a long time to go. But yeah, good thing you bring up those bowling figures, because Trent Bolt,
Yeah.
we spoke about this, picks up a wicket always in his first over. Did that today, although it was lucky against Quinton de Kock. He found the lone guy positioned at fine leg, and then backs it up by picking up another in his first spell. So his dream run
Yeah.
with the new ball still continues, and just goes to show that he's still got it. Um, we also saw Nandre Berger
Yeah.
playing today. We were discussing this, whether they will play two overseas fast bowlers, whether they will play two left arm pacers. But just goes to show that they managed to squeeze that in. And as you rightly pointed out, that whole impact sub rule being used very, very effectively to kind of make that happen, because now they've got 6 bowling options,
Yeah.
and all 6 frontline bowlers,
Absolutely.
really good bowlers, no part timers in there. Well, anything to add before we move to the second game?
Yeah, I think Sandeep Sharma, I think I had to mention him because when they brought in Nandre Bagar, let's assume that in the first innings they had got somebody a batter to come in instead of Nandre Bagar. Then they probably would have started with Trent Bolt and Sandeep Sharma with the new ball. And Sandeep Sharma, he probably would have bowled 2 overs with the new ball, and then they would have kept him for the later overs, at least 2 overs of him. But he did not bowl till I think 13th or 14th over of that innings. So that and then he suddenly came on when both Puran and Kejriwal were going all guns blazing, and that was the time he actually came on and he executed those Yorkers, those slower bouncers, all those variations. He used them pretty well, and I think it's not easy playing against these two guys and defending that total. I don't think. I mean, any new bowler coming at that point it's not going to be easy. But he just nailed those deliveries. His execution was perfect. I think he did he did a good job, because that role has to be flexible because of that impact sub rule, because they got Burger in. So now he had to play another role, and that must have happened like in the second innings. So again, there was flexibility on display, and credit to Sandeep Sharma again. He's doing it again this season.
Absolutely, an experienced man now, and yeah, he's got limitations of pace, but then he makes up for that with so many tricks in the bag. Just goes to show that there's many ways to skin a cat, as we say, you know. So yeah, well, that's the story. Lucknow Super Giants, Rajasthan Royals picking up the points. And moving on to match number five, the big one, Mumbai Indians versus the Gujarat Titans. Um, GT batting first, 168 for six in their 20 overs. Sai Sudarshan top scoring there with a 45. Shubman Gill looked in good nick for his 31. And we'll talk about that Mumbai bowling effort shortly. As far as MI, they looked in command. They looked like they were going to win, and there's no way they should have lost this game. But just goes to show that um, in a run chase with the runs on the board, if you just manage to hang in there, hang in there, hang in there, a wicket or two, suddenly the pressure builds, and then, as the great Bill Lawry used to say, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and that is what we saw. But yeah, just even before we talk about Gujarat's batting, one set of numbers that really are phenomenal on that page. Jasprit Bumrah, 4 overs, 14 for three. Um, he's an absolute gun, isn't he? We talk about bowlers, we talk about him as being one of the best, not just in India, but the best in the world at this. And proving that again today. He didn't get the new ball because Hardik's back in the side, and then they decided to open with Luke Wood. But bowl him anywhere, bowl him at the top of the innings, bowl him at the death of the innings, bowl him in the middle of the innings. This man comes in and produces wickets. What a bowler. Your reactions to his spell today?
We missed him last year, so he missed an entire season. He was not with the team from. I mean, he joined a couple of days back. I think since he's from Ahmedabad, he's from Ahmedabad, so team had to play their first game at Ahmedabad, so he did not join the team camp in Mumbai. He directly joined them at this venue. So he, I think, joined a couple of days ago, and from there I mean, it did not look. He did not look rusty. He looked ready. In fact, people were saying that why is he bowling the fourth over and why not the third or fourth over? Why not start with Jasprit Bumrah? That's the kind of spell he had. And if you are bowling out of those 24 deliveries, if you're bowling 14 of those deliveries as dot balls, and considering just one boundary and taking three critical wickets, then I think you don't deserve to be on the losing side. But that's how this game is. And similar to that, he was fantastic. I think he did 4 overs, 14 runs. I mean, he sort of made up for those early overs by Hardik Pandya, and that extra over that Namandir bowled. I think that could have been prevented, but again he made up for that. And his bowling partner and Gerald Coetzee, I think we had to talk about him. He looked very passionate. He looked very pumped up. I felt I felt that celebration, that says a lot. That how much it means to him. So he looked like he belonged there. Bowled at very good pace, 145, 146. Late one, I even saw him going closer to that 150 mark. He was fabulous. Those Yorkers, I could see Sai Sudarshan was set, but he was getting hurried into those deliveries. He was not giving him any room, giving bowling at his ribs. Those bouncers. I think he did a very good job. But again, I don't understand why he did not bowl in first 11 to 12 overs. I think he brought Hardik Pandya brought him in at I think 12th over or so, 12th or 13th. That's the first. That was the introduction point. I think that could have happened earlier, but again, because of the dew, I think the thinking was that Shams Mulani and Piyush Chawla would bowl their majority of their overs in first 10, and then that once that dew starts to come in, they will stick with their faster bowler. I think that was the thinking, is what I could decipher. But yeah, we clearly saw what happened in the second innings.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's an absolute gun, Gerald Coetzee. A lot of time for him. Mumbai's always had a long tradition of fast bowlers who come in and do the job. But just another addition. But as you said, lots of fire, lots of pace, lots of passion, and lots of making the batsman hop and jump and all those things. So yeah, great prospect. Um, from that Gujarat batting effort, one of the things that stood out for me is that it looked like an innings where you thought, okay, now they'll get going.
Yeah.
Okay, now they'll get going. Okay, now they'll get going. But that kick never came. That kick only kind of started coming when Rahul Tewatia actually came in towards the end.
Yeah.
And then even he couldn't really, get them to that score. And at the halfway stage, 168 seemed like they were well below par on
Yeah.
that wicket.
At
Your thoughts on that batting effort?
So at over number 10 and 11, I think they got 30 runs. That Namandhir over, and I think another over which went for 17 runs. So they scored 30 runs there, but I think over number 12, 13, and 14, they Bumrah and Gerald Kujia came in and they gave away only 15 runs. So that run rate was again pushed back. So that is when they started losing wickets, and that is when they started feeling that urgency that okay, now we need to score some quick runs. So I think that's where their innings so somehow started. That's where their innings started losing that spice. They needed somebody to finish that. I think Rahul Tewatia did a fair job there. That Luke put over at the end. I think we all know what Rahul Tewatia is capable of against the left arm seamers. I mean, we know, we know what he has done in the past. So I think again, bowling that over with Lookwood against Tewatia, and I think that the runs scored in that over. I think again in the end, that's the losing margin, right? So I think these smaller
Yeah.
decisions. I think at the end of the day, they could actually decide who is going to win the match. So again, one of those questionable decisions in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. At the halfway stage, Mumbai would have been very happy with that
Yeah.
168. Um, but as I said, I had hash browns for breakfast this morning and talk about making an absolute hash of a run chase. Um, I mean, Ishan Kishan getting out, the ball swung a bit, went early. But after that, Rohit Sharma, Naman Dhir, both of them put that innings on course. 107 for 2
Yeah.
in 12 overs, chasing 163 for victory. And then you end up losing 7 for 53
Yeah.
and fall 6 runs short. I mean, how, where do you put a finger on this? I mean, there are lots of issues there that we can talk about, but this is, they should have never lost this game.
Yeah, absolutely. They were in control. They needed 48 runs from 36 deliveries, with 7 wickets in hand. I think you expect any team to win this kind of matches from that stage, especially Mumbai Indians who bat deep, and we all know the kind of hitters that they have. And what I can understand, we know Ishan Kishan's weakness is against that moving ball, so I think this was not the first time that he was dismissed like that. I think it will continue till he sorts that out. That initial movement which goes away from him, I think he struggles there. So that's one weakness that we already know. And Rohit Sharma, I think he played a very good knock there. He probably could have. I mean, you do not expect much more from that. I think he gave them the perfect start that they wanted. And again, his batting at once Kishan was dismissed. Naman Dhir came on. I think he played some cracking shots. He reminded me of young Hardik Pandya when he first came in. Those shots that he played, even his physique was again similar. So I think Naman Dhir was one of the debutants for Mumbai, and I think he looked very promising. Even his fielding efforts were very good. He was fielding in those critical areas on the leg side. He was mainly fielding as that boundary rider on the critical areas that you normally get on leg side. He even took a fabulous diving catch in the deep. So for a debutant, I think he did a he did a decent job. And then Bravis once, I don't understand this decision again. I mean, you have the liberty of getting a of overseas player in, but I think you don't have to use that fourth overseas player. I mean, if you have a better option in domestic players. I think, in my opinion, with a leg spinner in that team, in that Gujarat bowling lineup, and a left arm spinner, I think Nihal Vadera could have been a very good option because he plays spin well. If you remember last season at Chennai, he played a very good knock against that in those spinning conditions, in those typical slowish conditions. So I think he had a case for himself, and I don't understand. I mean, this decision, I think, was the biggest. I think that could have gone the other way. Deval Braves, I think nothing against the player. I mean, we know what he can do, but that on that particular pitch when the ball was not coming onto the bat. It was slightly holding, skidding. All those things were happening. I think probably Nihal Vadera had a case there. And so if you look at Deval Brevis, 46 runs from 38 deliveries, it's not the when somebody is playing for that long, I think you expect that player to go on and finish the innings. So he got out at a very wrong time. But even after that, Mumbai had enough firepower left in the tank. Then Tilak Verma came in, and again, I don't understand what happened there. I mean, once Brevis got dismissed, Tilak Verma and Tim David were batting, and even I know even you must be surprised with that Rashid Khan over. I mean, he was refusing singles against Rashid Khan because uh, uh, he wanted to sort of safeguard Tim David from those Rashid deliveries. He wanted him to preserve his wicket, David's wicket. So I think that's what he tried to do. That over was a critical one. After that, run rate started spiking up, and to be honest, from there I think the plot MI started losing that plot. Till then, I think they had it in their control, and I think again another questionable decision was that we know Hardik Pandya has done well against Rashid in the past. So if they were not sure about David's credentials against quality leg spinner like Rashid Khan, then they could have probably sent Hardik Pandya up, and they could have probably preserved Tim David for the last 2-3 overs where you expect the seamers to bowl. So again, one of those decisions, I think again a questionable decision that this management took. I think they had like 4 or 5 big decisions that went wrong for them. This was again one of the major ones in my opinion. And I think once the Tilak Verma got out, it was entirely on Hardik Pandya, and as you know, that Ashish Nehra standing on the boundary and directing the entire show. We know what happens there. We know how he runs things and how smart he is, and the kind of changes that he did. Everything, I think it felt everything everything felt in GT's way. Everything just went their way. Everything was looking good for them in the end, despite that late surge from Hardik Pandya.
Yeah, I mean, Ashish Nehra probably is going to claim overtime today for the amount of messages that he sent through to the team. You could see him constantly talking to, and I don't think it was more of whether he was nervous or the players were nervous. He looks more nervous than the players, and he didn't mind who he was talking to. He just wanted someone to talk to, and he used to give them something or the other to pass on the messages. Yeah, I mean, you deciphered that really well. Last time I checked, Tim David was a batsman, and I didn't know that he was a tail ender, that he had to be shielded from the strike. Just one of those bizarre decisions that when Tilak Verma thinks about it after the game
Yeah,
tonight,
yeah,
I think even he'll realize that maybe wasn't his best moment. Um, I'm putting a spin on things. There are many ways to look at it, but I think what this teaches us once again that we keep talking about runs on the board and scoreboard pressure, runs on the board and scoreboard pressure, and even when things are going fine and the ship is sailing nice and smooth, a couple of wickets, suddenly sets panic
yeah,
amongst everyone, and you can just turn around and lose a game. Bowling figures wise, I mean, that old warhorse in Mohit Sharma, again comes along and gets the job done for them. I mean, he 27 wickets last year. For someone like Mohit Sharma, just 1 wicket behind Mohammad Shami, I think, who got 28,
yeah.
and Rashid Khan. So I think they had some three in the top five as far as top wicket takers of the
Yeah.
tournament were concerned last year.
Three in top three, in
And
fact.
yeah, top three, there you go. And yeah, in the middle also, both the spinners. I mean, it wasn't easy.
Yeah,
The ball was wet, there was dew,
yeah,
they were constantly, drying it. But Rashid Khan, Sai Kishore, 8 overs between them for 47 for one. That's an absolute steal on that wicket,
yeah.
and just shows that the lack of intent shown by Mumbai against those spinners in those middle overs is finally led to making a hash of a run chase that they should have won.
Yeah, Sai Kishore, I think he bowled good tight lines. I mean, we know the kind of shots Rohit Sharma can pull off against any spinner, against any bowler. In fact, once he's set, he's going to go after you. So he bowled. He had a pretty good spell there. He was not allowing even Devil Brevis to hit it through the line. He was cramping him for room. He was bowling at his body. He was not allowing him to get under the ball. So I think he did most things correctly. And I think again we are talking about Sai Kishore. I'll quickly divert and just go to Shams Mulani, another left arm spinner that who made his debut today, coming from the domestic ranks. I think guys wanted to talk about him as well. I think I'm glad that he has got his first game today. I was actually waiting for him to get his debut for MI. Last season he was there with MI. He could not get a game. Karthikeya was preferred over him, but this season finally he has played this match. And I hope Sai Kishore and Shams Mulani. Whenever I think of any left arm options for a test team, in fact, or even limited overs, I feel that after Jadeja, maybe these are the guys who can actually take us forward. Shams Fulani again, he is a very good batter as well. So these two guys, I want these two guys to do well. And now coming back to the topic, Mohit Sharma again, I think he has some kind of a grudge against Mumbai Indians, is what I feel, because every time Mumbai plays, he he seems to perform, and he seems to get those all crucial wickets. Last season it was Suryakumar Yadav. This season all the critical batters he got out, and I mean fabulous comeback. He was not even picked a couple of seasons ago. He was a net bowler for GT, and from there he came in that side, and from there he almost went that purple cap. Now he is again doing things. So I mean, it's not that easy for the older players specifically. But look at him, fabulous job he's doing for his team.
Yeah, so I guess to summarize, we've got two games today. Rajasthan Royals winning their first game, and of course, Mumbai making a hash of that run chase, which means GT picks up the points. So yeah, it's been a good first week, first round. That completes round number 1 for the IPL. 5 games so far. Chennai picking up points. We saw GT picking up points today. Rajasthan Royals picking up points. Punjab picking up points. And who am I forgetting? There was somebody else who picked up the points.
Yesterday Kolkata KKR picked up points.
KKR
So
picked up the
basically,
points.
all the
That's
home
it.
teams have won their first encounter, and all teams batting first. I think all teams batting first, they have won their matches. I think, or one match was won by team batting second. I don't remember exactly, but I think all home teams have won.
And the good thing is that we've seen all good scores, all scores in excess of 170 almost. So except for this 160 that we had today, but apart from that, it's all been good batting wickets, good scores. Yeah, makes for an exciting tournament. It's been a great first week. We've loved bringing it to you. And as always, if you like what we're doing, please do let us know. And follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it so that you get notifications every time we post something. Got another good game coming up tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow after it to review it. Any closing comments, Sarvesh, or are we good to call it a day or a
Yeah.
night wherever we are?
Yeah, I'm disappointed with MI's loss, but this is what they have been doing for last 11 years. So again, that's the kind of positive. That's the kind of positive, point that I would like to take. But yeah, I think it was a good weekend. We had some close games yesterday and today as well. Yesterday it looked like SRH had it. Today also it looked like Mumbai had it. But in the end, like you said, runs on the board, anything can happen.
Yeah. And I don't think you're the only one disappointed, because I heard Sunil Gavaskar say on commentary that Mumbai always start this way. So there's nothing to worry about. They'll come back. And yeah, trust, if there's one team in the world who can make a comeback from any position, it is the Mumbai Indians. Yeah, with that note, on a positive note, we'll finish this show and we'll see you next time. Until then, take care, have a good night, and keep following us. Thank you very much.